also welcome to the speaker session of International Strategic Planning Month 2022, for which the theme is data visualization. And we have with us Mr. David Gladson, who will be sharing his views about our theme this year. And so, please give us a little introduction about yourself.
Sure. So hello all, this is David. So I come with a completely 4 to 4.5 years of experience completely in data science domain. So I've been in this field, right, so all my professional career. And even before this, right, so whether it's my college projects, internships, I've been involved with data for a very long time. Coming to my professional college career, right, so I passed out from IIT Madras. I did my BTech, right, so passed out in 2018. And after that, I worked at a few startups as an analyst, data scientist at cricket.com, Get Mega, a gaming company. And presently, I work at Target, more like a senior data scientist. Right, so that's about myself, right? And in my free time, I also watch a lot of sport and there's a lot of sports and data as well, right? So currently volunteering as a data science instructor at Mad About Sports as well.
Okay, so first of all, according to me, data visualization have I've come across the fact that it is very important in the world of data. It is periodically evolving right now.
Right.
So my question that I wanted to ask you, sir, is that what is the implication of data visualization in the world of data? That is the question that I want to ask.
Sure, sure. So yeah, so as you rightly mentioned, right? So the demand for data visualization, right? So like people are showing a lot of interest, right, in visualizations. So why is this so? So if you like, so let's say you have some set of numbers, right, or you have a piece of code. If you show it to like 10 people, right, so hardly anyone will be able to understand that, right? So they will not able to recognize patterns, they will not look at your code or your tools, right? So like hardly no one understands. But if you show them just a design or a visual, everyone can connect to it, right? So that is the power of a visual, right? So like even your mom can connect, right? So your kids can connect, right? So regardless of age group, gender, different countries, different races, whatever it is, right? So people, right? So there are some common things that connects any kind of people. So visualization is one such kind, especially in an age where everywhere we see a lot of information, right? So data is growing uh, at an astronomical level, right? Now in this kind of an age, it's very, so even if we look at our Instagram scrolls, Twitter scrolls, right? So there is endless scroll, right? So we keep scrolling, right? And then, right, so if we are stuck at some visual, right? So if there is something that attracts us, we stay there, right? So like we have that post has our attention. So basically, it all boils down to paying attention to the visual, right? So that is the key thing because it hits our eye, right? So like it's more pleasing to our eye. If you look at numbers on one side and visual on one side, right? So we are more likely to look at a visual because numbers are very boring, right? So that is like, quite naturally. So yes, so there is a huge demand for data visuals, and I'll tell you one of the facts, right? So there is actually a profession, like where you like there are startups which are preparing decks for their their fundraising and stuff, right? So there are people who are dedicatedly doing job on preparing those decks, doing some visual because when you're at a pitch deck, right? So it's all about presenting numbers and data. So there are people who are assigned these roles only to design these PPTs, and they are paid in lakhs and crores of rupees. Right? So that is the demand for data visualization nowadays. Yeah.
Okay, sir, great, sir. So I know you have covered a lot of about data visualization, but if we talk about it's about representation
Right.
of data. So if will it is it good to represent data without data visualization now these days? That is something like I wanted to know. Is it any we have covered that, but is it good to represent data without data visualization these days?
Right. So yeah, so it all comes down to representation, right? So you have some data, let's say I have a set of numbers. So I can put these numbers into various ways, right? So I can put them into pie chart, bar chart, or a line chart, scatter plot, right? But like none of like whatever I know, right? So in my span of 4 to 4.5 years, whatever I've seen in professionals, they actually don't even know what chart to use, what representation to use for what kind of data. So that is actually one of the biggest problems. People think that I can just put this into some Excel chart and just get done with it, right? But that doesn't actually solve any problem, right? So that is actually people don't do research, people don't study, they don't understand design, right? So they just think that these are numbers, there's an Excel tool, I'll just put it up and then get done with it, right? So there is a need to understand when to use a pie chart, when to use a bar graph, so that it is actually conveying whatever information you want to convey, right? So end of the day, how you represent matters a lot, right? Like
Yes.
for example, starting from like you, if you just look at around you, right? So whether it's zebra crossing, whether it's traffic lights, right? So there are some specific representations, right? So everywhere traffic lights are same, everywhere zebra crossings are same, right? So even on stations, right? So there are signs and symbols, they are nothing but a representation, right?
Yes.
Right. So this representation is called a language, like just like your English language, Python language. Representation is also visual language. How to like it has to be in sync, right? So it has
Yes.
to like you have to learn these techniques. So I would recommend a book called Storytelling with Data to all the
Okay.
people who
Okay.
want to learn about how to represent the right data. So you can take a look at this book. It's a wonderful book, Storytelling with Data.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And just wanted your point of view on any. Are there any misconceptions about data visualization out there? Because something that would people would like to know. Are there any misconceptions or no?
Right. There are few. Right. There are few. Like so, some people think that it's very easy, and like there are things like this is very easy, this is simple, just plotting a chart. And some people think that like there's so much coding, and maybe I'm not able to do that. And then third thing is right. So people actually don't know how these charts are done. Right. So like it's more about like having awareness. Right. So they don't have awareness how these things are created, what tools to use for what. So, for example, you have visualizations on newspapers, news channels, right? So, especially newspapers, they use something called d3.js, right? So, which is actually makes your visual representations very clear, very precise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and there are some like analysts use Python, some
Yes.
right. So like, and they also use Excel sheets, and some people use Tableau, Power BI, right? So Google Data Studio, and like there are certain tools which are meant for certain things, right? So I would encourage people to get aware of it so that your myths are broken, right? It's not coding, it's not that easy, right? So there is so much of research that you need to do. It's not that simple as you think, as you see, right? So like little details, right? So in today's world, attention to detail is very important. Right? So
Yeah.
just throwing your graph is not the way forward, right? So you have to
Yeah.
mention, right? So maybe you can understand, but the person who's reading it may not be able to understand, right? So maintaining that attention to detail is very important, right? So like people just think that just put some numbers, chart, get done with it. Right? So, but
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
maintain, right? So this is like a habit, right? That you need to develop, right? So like visualization, like, and there are so many public data sets available. Just go
Yeah.
out there, download any public data, just see how many ways you can represent this data. Right? I would say like just do it in 5, 10 different ways. Right? So just explore it, right? So just go deeper in this field. You will be able to get better at it very easily.
Okay. So okay. Thank you so much, sir. It would be it would be great to share this experience with you. Share you sharing this your experience and sharing about data visualization for all people out there who want to learn the same thing. And yeah, thank you so much, sir.